Fourth reading. I promised myself to read it 10 times. With a little squeak upstairs. So, no, I said I'm a little weak brain-wise, so I repeat a lot of stuff that I read. Chungla's advice. Read 10 times.
Yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to our twice-weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma. This is Kunchap Tarduling, also known as the Tibet Center, a Buddhist Meditation and Study Center located in New York City and New Jersey under the direction of Chabje Ling Rinpoche and the co-direction of Rato Khensa Thupten Lundap, also known as Nikki. Geshe Nikki. Tonight we'll be continuing with secular ethics based on this text, Beyond Religion. But before that, we have a little treat from the book of Kadam, almost 1,000 years ago, sure. Right? 11th century, 21st century. So it's Atisha's, no, you get it when I tell you. I'll keep you in suspense. Attention. All the prayers we say are on the Tibet Center website. In the FAQ section, scroll down to prayers. If there is anyone who has passed away, and I think Jane sent you something, Darren?
Yeah.
All right, so remind me later, because my mind is somewhere else. It's in West Texas. Lost. Put their names in the chat box, and when we do Sutra, the recollection of 3 jewels, everyone will see their names and remember them. You don't have to be a Buddhist to come here, because what we're doing today is secular. So it's up to you. You want to recite the prayer or not? Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's your house. Consider it your home.
Thank you.
Prayer for the spread of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious 3 precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West, for all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them. May all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. I have hay fever, so excuse me if I sneeze and make a fool of myself, but what else is new? Heart Sutra, Heart of Wisdom Sutra. Thus have I heard once, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain to gather the big gathering of great monks and bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the dharmas, called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the 5 skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the 5 skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance, old age, and death, nor the wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. So hearing this for the first time, no, 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 no. It's a qualified no. It means no inherent. No thing that is not connected to everything else. No thing that doesn't depend on something else for its being, etc., its name, whatever. So that's so don't get confused. No, no, no. Oh, good. I'll go to sleep. No, okay. Generating bodhicitta, or refuge and bodhisattva vow, we recite these verses 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So that's our job. Pay is good though, I tell you. And the fringe benefits, forget it. So, even though this is a class on secular ethics and non-sectarian, etc., but there are a lot of people here who are real Buddhists and complain if we don't give some hardcore Buddhist teaching. So this is advice from, it's called the Book of Kadam, core text. This is a series of things, mostly translated by, mostly Thupten Jinpa, but he's the general editor, and a lot of other, it's called, what is it called? What the heck is it called? The Library of Tibetan Classics. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Masterpiece theater, yes. Yes, here we are. So this is the Bodhisattva's Jewel Garland by Atisha Dipankara. That's Dikampara Rakshita, something like that. Atisha, 982-1054 is his dates. So it's about 1,000 years ago. Still relevant. And this is advice for those who have the Bodhisattva motivation. That's all. It's in verse form. The Sanskrit title is the Bodhisattva Manavali. Bodhisattva Manavali. Homage to great compassion. Homage to the teachers. Homage to the faith divinities. And the advice is to start. Discard all lingering doubts and strive with dedication in your practice. How do you discard all lingering doubts? By looking into these things skeptically. You just don't say, yeah, that's right. No, 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 no. As His Holiness repeats 10,000 times, and I read 20,000. Not yes, yes, yes. Why? Mm-hmm. And then it unlocks more meaning. And that's that. Thoroughly relinquish sloth, mental dullness, and laziness. And strive always with joyful perseverance. So you got to have that element of joy. It keeps things rolling. With mindfulness, awareness, and heedfulness, these are technical terms we don't have much time to go into, but if you wish, after class, you can look up the little footnotes there and describe these things. Heedfulness is being attentive all the time. What is my mind thinking? What is my body doing? What's my motivation? Most important. So that's the big deal. Constantly guard the doorways. Constantly guard the gateways. Here he says, gateways of your senses. Again and again, 3 times, both day and night. Examine the flow of your thoughts. He's referring to the succession yoga or something like, or on your own. You should always, what am I doing? Reveal your own shortcomings, but do not seek out others' errors. Big point. You should be frank. No one's there with you. You're in your own mental arena there. So be aware. If you screwed up, and admit it. And that's how you improve. Conceal your own good qualities, but proclaim those of others. You're humble. You're on the other side, etc. Very good. Forsake wealth and ministrations. Don't get involved in, I guess, the parties, whatever. At all times relinquish gain and fame. Have modest desires. Be easily satisfied. And reciprocate kindness. That was a big point around here with Rinpoche. Return their kindness. Cultivate love and compassion and stabilize your awakening mind, your bodhisattva motivation. Relinquish the 10 negative actions and always reinforce your faith. Everyone knows the 10 negative actions. A little like the 10 Commandments, but here it's Buddhism, it's suggestions. Destroy anger and conceit and be endowed with humility. Relinquish wrong livelihood and be sustained by ethical livelihood. You're on your own with that. In those days it was butchering and stuff like that. Now, who knows? An Exxon executive, maybe not good livelihood, I don't know. An arms manufacturer, sure. So there's one Vietnamese woman who's a scientist, who's a boat person, got a good job with this, working on electronics, and then she found out that this company was making guidance systems for missiles. She quit immediately. She took another job, took down, cut and pay. She used to run the Harvard Buddhist Center. That sort of fellow. We have their statue, they gave it to us. That's how that came to be here. Forsake material possessions. Establish yourself with the wealth of noble ones. Avoid all trifling distractions and reside in the solitude of wilderness. This needs an explanation. We have to have material possessions now. That's the way things are. We can't run into the woods and live on, nettles or whatever, And the wilderness, more solitude takes place, I think, in New York City. There's more alienation in the big cities. The wilderness isn't there anymore for most people, unless you can really handle yourself. So mainly limit your worldly activities, and they'll be tossed here and there.
Can I share something?
Sure, of course, please do. This is discussion, by the way. It's not the...
So, actually, you saw me when I was having lunch with my sister
Yeah.
the other day in Jackson. I don't know if any of you all
Everyone knows Jackington.
Everybody knows Jackson, right?
I think so.
Whatever, it's a very sweet restaurant.
I was there when the sun was...
And it has terrible acoustics. And we're actually...
What?
It has terrible
I'm
acoustics.
joking.
And then my sister and I were studying right concentration because we were doing actually the Eightfold Path, and she said something like, "It's really it's really terrible to study this in a place where I can't concentrate at all." So she said, I hope that one day I'll be so practiced that I can sit in the middle of Jackie and Son and still have these qualities.
Yeah, the word they use, sit in the middle of an Indian railroad station and not be distracted. Because you can concentrate so much that you shut off the sense inputs. That's it. So I don't know, it keeps you on guard when somebody comes. But that's Chungla told me. They could sit in Indian Railroad Station. Yeah, it's hard. That place, especially, everything is hard surface and stuff, and everyone's so bubbling. They get out of class. They're very sweet in there, though.
Yeah.
Very nice. The one in Montclair is very good too. A little smaller, but right on the main drag, Valley Road. What's it called? I forgot. Jackie's Grill.
Jackie's Grillette.
Jackie's Grillette. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Grillette. Abandon frivolous words. In other words, senseless speech, and just da like this. Constantly guard your speech. When you see your teachers and preceptors reverently generate the wish to serve. A lot of this cultural, towards wise beings with Dharma eyes, and towards beginners on the path as well. Recognize them as your spiritual teachers. In fact, when you see any sentient being, view that one as your parent, your child, or your grandchild. Pertaining to age, I don't know. But you got the idea. We're all close. And according to Buddhism, over the tremendous amount of time we've been around, everyone's been related to us. Mother, brother, whatever. Renounce negative friendships. Stay away from the Trump headquarters. And rely on a spiritual friend. Discard hostile and unhappy mental states and venture forth to where happiness lies. A yogi can handle anyone. They go directly towards these negative people a lot of times. They think they can have some leverage with them. But a beginner shouldn't, because you're easily influenced. Abandon attachment to all things and abide free of desire. Attachment fails to bring even the higher realms. In fact, it kills the life of true liberation. You're attached, you're not free. You're not happy. You're being ruled by your attachment. So there's a big sense of mental space when you drop a lot of attachment to at least the strong clinging I gotta have. Not healthy. When you see the factors of happiness there, always persevere. Whichever task you take up first, address this task primarily. There's a footnote on that one too, the factors of happiness there, always persevere. But if we went through all the footnotes, it'd be here all night. But the book is here, and maybe I'll leave it here in the center for a while so people can run through it. In this way, you ensure the success of both tasks, where otherwise you accomplish neither. Since you take no pleasure in negative deeds, when a thought of self-importance arises, at that instant deflate your pride and recall your teacher's instructions. All right, very cultural. This is something that within the family here. When discouraged thoughts arise, uplift your mind and meditate on the emptiness of both, the discouraging thoughts and your mind itself, and because everything is empty, or dependent, we could say, even more sharper. When objects of attraction or aversion appear, view them as you would illusions or apparitions. You want that, Tesla? It's only an illusion. When you hear unpleasant words, view them as mere echoes. When injuries afflict your body, see them as the fruits of past deeds. And don't go into the why me, because that's a blind alley. Dwell utterly in solitude beyond town limits. I don't know if that's possible anymore, but you could have mental solitude. You don't get involved in those these little diversions. You have solitude. When injuries afflict your body, see them as the fruits of past deeds. And they are, if you want to really get into it. This is hard to tell someone who's not a studied Buddhist, but it's the way things... If not, well, what is the cause of you being hurt now and not this one? You investigate that to see if this is a lot of baloney or something true. Solitude beyond town limits, like a carcass of a wild animal, hide yourself away in the forest and live free of attachment. Always remain firm in your commitment. When the hint of procrastination and laziness arises, at that instant enumerate your flaws and recall the essence of spiritual conduct. However, if you do encounter others, speak peacefully and truthfully. Do not grimace or frown, but always maintain a smile. In other words, you're on the earth for others. You're around for others, and that's the idea, as best as you can do. In general, when you see others, be free of miserliness and delight in giving. Relinquish all thoughts of envy. That's hard. To help guard others' minds, forsake all disputation and always be endowed with forbearance. Tell them that in the debate court, that they should be. I'm shutting this whole operation down. It says right here.
They're debating for a good reason.
I know, it's different. To be free of flattery and fickleness in friendship. Be steadfast and reliable at all times. Do not disparage others, but always abide with respectful demeanor. When giving advice, maintain compassion and altruism. Yes. Never defame the teachings. Whatever practices you admire, with aspiration and the 10 spiritual deeds, strive diligently, dividing day and night. That refers to succession yoga. There's certain times of the day you stop, and most religions have that. Islam has it. Christianity used to have the Angelus at the noon and all that. So this is something that everyone who's spiritual agrees on. Whatever virtues you gather through the 3 times. Yeah, what is it? You have Mariv, you have the Jewish rituals, yeah.
Shacharit.
But it's different than prayer. I think this practice is different than like the Muslim and Jewish, at least practices that I know of.
Yeah.
Because in those practices,
Please
it's
tell
more
us.
about trying to communicate maybe with
God.
the vision of God,
Hashem.
or maybe just pausing and praying. And in the 6th session practice, you're kind of looking inward
Oh,
and
yeah.
seeing like, what,
Yeah.
how am I doing? What am I doing?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, how did I live
So
up
do
to
think
what
there's a small qualitative practice here. Difference.
difference? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But the idea of always staying on program, on message, or whatever the word, political word is. Yeah. So, whatever virtues you gather through the 3 times, past, present, and future, ladies and gentlemen, dedicate them towards the unexcelled great awakening, Buddhahood. Disperse your merit to all sentient beings and utter the peerless aspiration prayers of the 7 limbs at all times. 7 limbs of puja is a standard format for prayers, We have a prayer called Gaden Laja, deities or 100 deities, something. To Sankapan, you imagine you invite the person to come, you make offerings, you make praises, you do confession, you request them to remain and teach, and you dedicate the merit for the benefit of all sentient beings. That's 7 limbs that you can do quick. And it's built into all the prayers that you say, blah, 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 blah. We give a lip service all the time. You got to think when you're doing these. Don't do what I do. If you proceed thus, you'll swiftly perfect merit and wisdom and eliminate the 2 defilements. Since your human existence will be meaningful, you'll attain the unexcelled enlightenment. The wealth of faith, the wealth of morality, this is a classic point, the 7 riches, the things that really count, not your bank account. The wealth of faith, the wealth of morality, the wealth of giving, the wealth of learning, the wealth of conscience, the wealth of shame, and the wealth of insight. These are the 7 riches. That's a big deal. So a lot of people study them, write books about them, even songs. Hint, hint.
Can I ask
You could do it. Shame because you sort of put a brake on yourself. It's a healthy thing here. Not guilt, but shame. There's a big fine line there, but what would others do? They'd be offended if they see me doing this or something like that. That's a good break. A yogi, that goes by the boards. They do whatever they want because they're following a different program. But the average person, it's very healthy to have a sense of shame.
Shame is like consideration of others.
That's right. That's right. What would they think?
No.
Because you can't be ashamed of something no one else is on the earth. You're the only one. Hey. So it's something that relates.
Right, like as opposed to being shameless.
Yeah, shameless you.
I think of shame sometimes as like a kind of a embarrassing thing.
Yeah.
But to be shameless is almost worse.
You don't even, that's right. Who comes to mind when you think shameless? Who in the popular discourse? Yeah.
But I agree because like to me also the word shame does sound more negative.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I'm thinking about like consideration, like being considerate of others. That's something I can get behind.
They use shame though, and I don't know why. I thought of, yeah.
I mean, like I hear what you're saying, Margaret, about like shameless, right?
Yeah. It's like I would rather understand what it feels like to experience shame than to be shameless, for sure. Some interesting nuance.
You have some wild yogis, Milarepa, that ran around nude practically. Drukpa Kunleg, who's someone asked, could you consecrate this tanka? So he urinates on the ground, picks it up and throws on the tanka. Here, it's consecrated. Shameless!
Right.
I don't know.
That's like
That's different. Yeah,
non-dual
they do what they want.
fire
Yeah.
stuff
And it's a blessing, you know, thing. Who knows? That's beyond my. I used to follow things like that, be very interested, and I realized I'm wasting my time. I'm not developing my character at all. I'm just being fascinated. So,
I wonder if they're using the word shame in that book, what the translational differences are.
you know, we could
from
ask
Tibetan,
Nikki.
Because I think of shame as being, you know, the negative aspects in our culture are like a terrible lack of self-worth. And I don't think that's what it's.
No, it doesn't
aiming
mean
at.
that.
Yeah,
It's a healthy,
yeah.
and when they describe it, it's healthy. His Holiness described it a couple of times. I have to find some of the basics books and lectures he gives.
Yeah, but I agree, Grace. I think that's the negative part that comes up in my mind too,
Yeah.
right? Like if I think about our daughter, I don't want her to be ashamed,
Mhm.
but I want her to be considerate of others,
Yeah,
right? So there's like a difference.
a young
Right,
person. Yeah, you don't even want to go
the
near
action is
things
different.
like that for a young person just forming their character.
Yeah.
You know, that's something's very nuanced.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even when I, like, in the case of maybe even being, well, if I brought up like a situation, like being near Ling Rinpoche, for example, and being in his presence, I think I was very nervous to do something wrong in a way.
Yeah, that yes.
And that's maybe what comes to mind. It's almost like an innocence of just not quite knowing or feeling like you're going to step out of bounds. I would feel shame, but nothing to my character that I was like bad inside, but maybe a slight feeling of like wanting to do my best and feeling like, you know, if I step out of bounds and I don't know the decorum, I feel a little shameful.
Yeah, that's
But not like to the point that I think my worth is less.
no. You should never go there. You're
But-
you're a
but to the
Buddha.
point
You're,
that-
you're a
that-
Buddha nature. So
To the point that I just go, ooh, I'm a little in over my head. I don't quite know what the right thing is here.
I think a lot of it depends on the environment you're in. You have to
Humility, maybe.
also go along with the customs.
Yeah.
In some places, for instance, Tibet, polyandry was okay. It wasn't shameful.
Mm.
You know,
Now, Tony, maybe in the olden days, shame would be like
it's
a
cultural.
new bride looking at her new spouse or something, like a shame.
Oh yeah, in India they didn't even look at that. They have to put their eyes down like that.
Yeah,
Could
yeah.
you imagine Nicki Minaj or some people like that today? Yeah,
Or
I don't
like
think
a
that would.
shy, like a shyness, or
Right,
like a
right.
Yeah.
bashful, maybe,
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
I'm sure it's studied too. It's probably a whole training they get. I don't know, but I
I
know
think Buddy right now is being a little shameless.
he's shameless. He's always shameless. He has poetic
Having to
license.
prop up my
whatever it
book
is.
in order to prop up his body.
He knows it all.
I know, he's like, you'll do it, so I'll just stay here.
And the final 5 lines. These precious and excellent jewels, the 7 riches, are the 7 inexhaustible riches in terms of merit. Do not speak of these to those not human. Buddy, get out of the room. Among others, God is this is a big mantra in Tibetan and English. Not a mantra, but it's a big piece of advice. Should be a bumper sticker.
Okay.
Among others, guard your speech. When alone, guard your mind. Keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah. That is a good bumper sticker.
Yeah, it is. So, I'll leave the book here in the center for a week or 2, whatever. Eventually, we can maybe pry a few free books out of wisdom. We have the whole library's about 35 books now, something like that. The Kargu books, the medicine books, all this old stuff is slowly being translated. Nicely done. This one was done by Jim, but sometimes Gavin Kilty. The good ones do it. So, that puts away our variety show aspect of the class. I'll repeat the last words we said last night. We're in the section on meditation as mental cultivation. He's finally come down out of the closet. And he says, the main statement, he said, you don't have to be doing meditation in a religious context at all. Meditation is for improving your mind, and who doesn't want to improve their mind? Getting rid of your neuroses, being happy. It's like therapy. And you're in charge, because you have to be. Only you can change your mind. So,
What page, Tony?
yeah, what did I say? Let's see. Completely. I'm going to start at the bottom of 162, but we actually would start relaxing and settling the mind. So, you have a copy?
No.
Darren, we got to buy more copies. You're alive?
Who's this one?
And guys, just comment whenever you want. This is supposed to be are you picking up the audience, by the way?
Yeah.
Very good. So, I'll go bottom 4 lines of 162. If you do chose the lotus position, talk about different positions to meditate in. Us old farts, we have to meditate in a chair. My legs don't go lotus anymore. I didn't work on it, so. But as long as the spine is straight and there's no constriction on any of the blood vessels, major blood vessels, no tight clothing. And then, of course, straight spine and the head back kind of high up a little. Tilt slowly and you gaze downward so you know, oh, there. You could open your eyes or close them. The best advice, as I said last class, was I got from Tipton Children. Let a little light in. Sanjay Kadra also says that. Those women in Seattle, Spokane. That's Seattle. I think everything is Seattle. I'm very culturally, what's the word? Bound. If you do choose a lotus, but you can place your hands in a relaxed position. That's important. Nothing tense. You will find out. You sit yourself in the position. I mean, those who sit regularly do this. Yeah, that's it. I'm relaxed. 10 minutes later, things start opening up. You weren't that relaxed. The shoulders relax more. The jaw is relaxing more. Katie calls it something, relax the back of your mouth. Oh, beg your pardon. No, but she's another good one. Katie Cole from the center in Santa Fe, New Mexico. She's was a therapist before she became a nun. She's Australian, from West Australia, Perth. Very humorous, very good advice in terms of placing the body, the feet firmly on the floor and even with each other. These are things that let you sit comfortably. The Zen student, the Zen master, we used to say you sit like this and you have your thumbs together as if you're holding a sheet of paper between them. So now I have, like, shakes in my hands from all, but I used to do that. And then you have your arms as if you had eggs underneath your armpits there, away from the body, not like this. Somewhat like that. He's trying to give an example. And you keep your mouth shut and the tongue up against the palate so you don't salivate too much. This is standard. But mainly you'll see, you do a body scan, head to toe, and see if I'm on. So you do. You sit like this. Yeah, okay, that's it, like that. And then suddenly, as you watch the breath or whatever you do and get involved in it, wasn't that relaxed? Shoulders relaxed. Sometimes chest relaxes. So culturally, the different races hold tension in their chest, some in their stomach, and you should breathe after a while if you're going to relax and as deep as you can, but not forcing the depth of the breath. And there are exercises, breathe in and out 3 times this way, then that way, the vase breathing, all that. No, we're not talking about that here. Simple, calming you down so that the body isn't a distraction. And not only that, since the mind watches the breath or something like that, the physical and the mental are not at odds. They're in sync. Your mind is watching a physical thing, the breath. So then whatever you want to do after that, you can. But I'm not a meditation instructor. I'm not a yogi or anything. So consult the cognoscenti, the ones who know. But that's the general standard, thing you get. Allow the elbows to rest loosely, pushed out a bit from the body so that there's a gap in which air can pass through. I don't know why you need air passing through, but I get the point. And very good for circulation. these practices, so that you're not hindering the natural circulation of the body, the endocrine system. What's that thing that they call it chi and everything, but it's not breath. It's like, I forgot the word again today. What?
Prajna?
No. The physical thing.
The what?
The lymph system.
Oh,
The lymph system.
lymphatic system.
The lymphatic system, that's it. Lymph. Often it's helpful to sit on a cushion which is raised slightly at the back, yes, if that's comfortable to you. This helps straighten the backbone, which ideally should be kept straight as an arrow, with just the neck bent a little downward, keeping the tip of the tongue touching the palate, blah, 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 which can prevent thirst, which can set in as a result of breathing exercise. The lips and teeth can be as usual. You discover for yourself, His Holiness, what position works best for you. Some people find that meditating with the eyes open is most effective. Others find this very distracting. For most, half closing the eyes is generally best, but some find it helpful to close them completely. If I did, I'd be out. That I can tell you. So, but you are you. Alan Wallace also has the supine position where you could, like, outlast 3 minutes with that. That would be it. They could do surgery on me and I wouldn't feel it. I mean, really. Yes, the supine position. I mean, he's got such control of his mind. But no supine for me.
Surgery.
Please, unclean. Okay, relaxing and settling the mind. Relaxing and settling the mind. Once you are settled, the first thing to do is take a few deep breaths. But don't go like this, it's not deep sea diving here. Then breathing normally again, try to focus on your breath. Alan Wallace calls that you're expelling corpse air, dead air that might be there. So maybe it's mental, who knows if there's scientifically some less oxygen way down that has to get thrown out to make room for the good stuff, I don't know. But in the enigmas they say expel the corpse air, dead air. Then breathing normally and try to focus on your breath, noticing the air as it enters and leaves through the nostrils. I think I said last night the same thing. Pabanka Rinpoche said, look, if you're someone who has trouble breathing through your nose all the time, sometimes the energies come in and out of your mouth. Sometimes they go back. That's not a big deal. Don't get hung up on it. So he calls it the energies coming in and out of your mouth, not the breath. It's strange. He's sort of modern. He was like in the 40s, giving lectures in the 30s and 40s, Pabanka. What you're trying to achieve is a mind in a neutral state, neither positive nor negative, a clean slate. Alternative, you can take one inhalation and one exhalation while silently counting from 1 to 5 or 7 or whatever, or 10, and then repeat the process a few times. So people do that to mark, I got to sit down, I'm just going crazy, let me count to 10, in and out, 10 again, in and out. Okay. That's not going to take you to full enlightenment, but it's going to get you started. At least they say that. I don't know.
And
What?
it's hard.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. He said last night on the previous thing, you'll discover when you said that the mind is a wild horse. Yeah. I mean, I'm not familiar with horses that much. You probably are. You're from the woods there. So, yes, it takes you all over the place. And when you do look, you see all kinds of stuff going on. I said this last night, I repeated Chungla's advice to me. What? You thinking of horses?
Look at the cat.
What's the cat
Look
doing?
at the cat.
The cat's like a hot dog in my
Oh,
prayers.
the cat's, he likes people.
He's meditating
Your
on the
hands
dog
must get tired.
scriptures.
I know, I'm a little tired, but
He starts-
we've just
Buddy.
entered into this situation.
Buddy, you're taking advantage of people's kindness.
It's okay.
What was I going to say? No, I forgot. The cat distracted me again. Yeah, Chungla said one time, so you look, I said, my mind's worse than it ever was. The more I look, it gets crazy. And he says, no, you don't understand. So we're standing on the street. So you see all the cars are going by, and I was like, your thoughts. If you don't notice and you don't realize how many there are, but if you start counting those cars, just the changing on one light, and it's a lot,
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing now. You don't realize that's been going on all the time. And that engenders sometimes kind of mood that takes you over that you didn't realize, why am I thinking this now? There was one little thought that really got you, and it got lost in the thing, but it made a deeper impression lower down in the mind, and you get a mood.
Yeah.
These little thoughts make moods. Who wants to be in control of moods? Even good moods. Not really. I like to be in control of moods. Under the control of good moods. No, but that's, you'll find that when you start doing the work, and it is work. It is harder work than like digging out plants and stuff, but it's well worth it. And it becomes more easy as you get the knack of it. So the best is to meditate every day. Find the time that's good, 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there, that's all. But the continuity is more important than the length of the session. One session for an hour a week is not as good as 10 minutes a day. Not at all. So Rinpoche says, should do continuous. Continuity. So that's it. Thanks. You shouldn't call him Chungla. Everybody said he wanted to be called that. He didn't want to be called Rinpoche or anything. But later on, Nikki, after he got out of the monastery, we must call him Rinpoche. He's right. Okay. Blah, blah, blah here. We can liken the process. Spending a few minutes observing your breathing is usually a good way to achieve a calmer mental state. You could do that at work too, or anytime you have to start something that's difficult, working on a problem, trying to figure out chords or whatever you do. You know, we can liken this process to settling the mind to dyeing a piece of cloth. White cloth can easily be dyed a different color than 164, but it is difficult to dye a piece of cloth that is already colored unless we want to make it black. In the same way, when the mind is agitated, a positive result is hard to come by. So you have to prepare the canvas, get the gesso out, whatever, and start with the right base, and that's very important. And this carries over into the rest of your life. You'll see the little 10 minutes here and then 10 minutes there each day that you do will slowly carry into the rest of your life. You should be more steady and not thrown off course all the time. Less quick to anger, less quick to get depressed. It doesn't happen in 10 minutes. It takes a long time. But time well spent. And then that's forever. The mind goes life to life to life. Build up your body. When you're dead, what good is that? The mind continues, which is hard to sell to most people because we're in this society where everything is physical. But that's true. We're in the desire realm, by the way. Welcome to desire realm. Yeah. Sometimes you may find it difficult to concentrate at all because your mind is in the grip of some powerful emotion, like anger, like grief, like infatuation with someone down the block or wherever, or in jail now. At such times, it can be helpful to quietly say a few words over and over, a formula such as, I let go of my afflictive emotions, or for religious believers, a short devotional prayer or mantra repeated a few times can loosen the grip of the emotion. If this technique does not work, then maybe you need to get up and go for a short walk before trying again. Excuse me. This is definitely hay fever. I remember it from my childhood. It's too long ago to remember. All right. There may be occasions, especially in beginning stages, this you'll find to be true, when negative thoughts keep returning after a short time. In such cases, you may find the whole session is taken up with exercises to calm the still mind. That's all right. It's still mental training. That's what you're there for. So you didn't get anything done. No. As you gain some experience of how the mind works and learn what techniques work best for you, you will gradually become familiar with a more neutral state of mind. This alone is good practice. Again, you're on your own. You really are. You got to do it yourself, and that's it. How refreshing. When you have succeeded in establishing a more settled state, perhaps a few minutes into your session, you can then begin the actual work of mental cultivation, or whatever else you're doing, studying, etc. In the initial stage, I don't know what you do for practicing. You have to get into the groove to practice a little. She's a musician, a professional musician, so.
I would say that I find writing and practicing to be very, very similar to meditation.
Ooh.
In the sense that
No, that's exactly what should happen.
Well, in the sense that it's only you are going to do it, and once you show up to it, I find for myself that it's, especially for writing, it's like different every time. You'll get thrown different curveballs every time, and just to kind of show up to it every day and do it is the point. Not to achieve something every day, but to show up every day.
Continuity.
Yeah,
Very important.
consistency, I would say. Like you're saying, 10 minutes is better every day than
Yes,
an
yes.
hour a week. That's,
Yeah.
I would say, very similar with writing and playing music.
you'll find that that becomes like a landmark in your mind, and you want to come back to it all the time.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
you'll-
definitely.
like that. And then sometimes if you
Very
do
cool.
some reading and studying, the words jump up at you out of the blue.
Mm.
That's a very good sign. You're starting to carry that in your continuum.
Mm.
And then it's very healthy. It's like getting vitamins.
Mm.
When you have succeeded in establishing a more settled state, perhaps a few minutes into your session, then begin to work on it. Okay, we got that. In the initial stages of your training, it is best to practice several different exercises successively. To start with, you may find it impossible to keep your mind focused for more than a few minutes, perhaps even just a few seconds at a time before distraction sets in. This is quite normal. That's what's supposed to happen. The doctor says, oh, that's normal, yeah, but it's killing me. I love when they say that's normal. But here, this is quite normal. As soon as you realize you have become distracted, just return gently, keyword gently, and don't yell at yourself, what are you doing? Gently, slowly, like a father guides a little kid walking or something, a mother. You know. All right, get up, come on, let's go. Gently to what you were doing before the distraction arose. There should be no anger or self-reproach when this happens, just a patient recognition of what the mind is doing and a calm redirection of the attention. Calm redirection of the attention. The important thing is not to become discouraged. That's very mature way of going about your inner work. Reflecting on the benefits of mental training. So you motivate yourself. So you do this. What time do we have left? Clock. We have not even about 10 minutes. That's it. One useful exercise at the beginning of each says to consider the benefits of practice. An immediate benefit is that practice gives us a brief respite from the often obsessive worrying, calculating, and fantasizing with which our minds are habitually occupied. True or false? It happens. This by itself is a great boon. Another benefit to reflect on is that the practice is a sure path to the highest wisdom, even if that path is a long one and there will be many obstacles to overcome along the way. But once gained, that's it. You're done forever. And then you can really help others. That's the main point. This is the Mahayana. We're not in it for ourselves. It is also good to spend some time reflecting on what may happen if we neglect to practice. You're on your own with this one. There is a danger that we will end up like the monk in the picnic story, carried off as a corpse before we ever know the benefit of the endeavor. That's the story of the Lama kept promising his kids, I'll take you on a picnic. He never went. And then one day, one of them got carried out. He died in the monastery. So somebody else, somebody's going on a picnic. So, yeah. You want to walk off this life with the real benefit of having become a human and exposed to this kind of knowledge. With all the scientific advancements and all the things published and stuff, this stuff is slow like a tiny little diamond. And it's running the whole world, it's running the whole show. People don't realize. This is the advice we need to get out of this situation we're in, of rebirth. Who wants that? Me. No, you don't. Shut up. It's also good to spend some time. We neglect. One who never engages in this kind of work has very little chance of dealing effectively with the destructive thoughts and emotions which, when they take hold of us, destroy all hope of peace and mind. You go off nuts. You have a gun in the house, even worse. One Lama, Serkang Rinpoche, has been reborn. He didn't like to have knives in the house. There's people like, monks' kitchens, but he didn't like normal people who drank and stuff that ever have knives in the house. Well, you got to have knives to cook with, but in his society, he didn't have many guns at that time. It's the old Tibet. One of the advice he gave Nick, he said, don't put a knife in your mouth. Pick up like a piece of melon or like that. He said, that's no good. Who knows what the reasonings behind that, but having deeply considered these two opposing possibilities, the advantage of one compared with the disadvantages of the other, we then go back and forth between them, honestly, examine them. Let that ping pong go on. As we do so, we should find that the benefits far outweigh any arguments in favor of not practicing. Again, you have to do this yourself because you're the one who can convince yourself. Even eloquent speakers, they said so much nice things, 10 minutes later you forgot. It's back to the old ways. So when you do the work and you do the examining, it's much different. We then rest the mind on this conclusion for a short time before moving on to the next stage of the session. You do that with everything. You hold something and you think you got, so hold that for a few minutes in one-pointedness. You analyze, you come to a meaning. Yes, you examine the meaning. Yes, there's a certainty there. You hold that certainty as long as you can. You don't go like this, but you got the idea. It's like buying anything, a house, a car. You go back and forth, or this one, or that one, or this, and then finally, with all the inputs you've got, something comes up, and yeah, this is it. Of course, I'd like to have this, but given the money I have, the means, etc., you come to a logical conclusion. You get set on that, and then you actually have the impetus to go out and fork over the money and stuff.
Tony, when you're doing single-pointed concentration on something you've reached through analytical meditation,
Yes.
is it a verbal, conceptual meditation, or
For me, it is.
how do you?
To hold an image is very hard for me. I'm not an example of a good meditator. I'm a big mouth and everything, but yes, it's verbal because you came to that conclusion by means of concept. You're not talking, but like that. But there's a breakthrough when you hold that meaning. The meaning sometimes takes on its own life, and that's what you're going after.
So would you say
Emptiness, for instance.
like, could the meaning be like a somatic bodily sensation? Could it be a color? Could it be a shape? Or is it just something?
In Tantra, they
totally
use those
beyond all
things.
that?
Tantra uses that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this regular sutra, no. But Tantra does use the feelings, the this, the that, and then they bring in a different concept of the body, energy this, energy that. Tantra is just a faster way to become a Buddha, if you can handle it. It's the same principles, the same definition of emptiness. There's no special tantric emptiness, no. But the techniques are different.
But if you were doing, like, for instance, just the 7-step cause and effect method of cultivating Buddha
That's right.
from the language,
Or self and others, yeah.
would you then conclude and like verbally repeat over and over and over again?
Excuse me. If you,
I'm totally responsible for.
yeah, if you have to use it as a crutch, if you can't hold the idea,
Yeah.
verbally repeat.
Yeah.
But that's a little crude. But then the meaning should come up with a feeling of warmth and everything. There should be something, a little back of the head. You hold on that. That'll fade.
So it does-
It fades.
It's
Like certain
I
affairs
think
you
so
had.
too.
Yeah. But then that comes on. Also, it takes a life of its own. It has an energy.
Yeah,
And these,
exactly.
for instance, and try and understand emptiness. You go over the same reasons. Somehow those reasons break, and you have a non-conceptual view.
Right,
They say.
right.
When that happens, I'm throwing a party. No, but you gotta wait a long. No, something like that. That's the thing. Sankapa, that was in his realization of emptiness. Finally, over and over again. Then he had a dream, and he opened the book.
Polita.
Yeah, Buddha Paldas that, and then he achieved that. He wrote that group in praise of dependent arising, that poem. So, of course, this was a big show. He was already a Buddha eons ago, but he shows up doing this, and we take that, study that script, and go by. Yeah, so there's a point when all this verbiage, maybe put that's a word, right? Verbiage starts to take root and real meaning in the mind. What goes on down there, I don't know, but that seems to be the method they push in the school.
But I do think even in early stages, at least for me, there has to be some kind of enjoyment of dealing with these ideas, right? If you're like, for me, again, like.
Yeah, for everybody, we're not idiots.
No, because there are people.
Do we need to leave?
Take it out. It's the one on the stairs.
Okay.
Remain calm and follow the instructions.
There has to be some heat, is that what you said?
I'm saying, maybe there, yeah, I just started the fire.
Started the fire. That's very good. A little tumo here. Spread to all of us.
Buddy, it's okay, buddy. You look scared. Buddy, don't worry, buddy.
It bothers you, Margaret? It's done.
I think they got it.
You unscrew it and throw it outside.
They got it under control. I can feel it.
So this is a
wrapping
big
up.
point.
What happened?
There has to be some enjoyment. That's engendered by thinking about the benefits.
Yeah,
And they take root deeper down.
totally, or.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I just saw this funny meme of like a person talking to their own mind, and there's a picture that they made a plan, right? And the person is saying like, I love the plan we made, and the mind's like, yeah, this is a great plan.
Who's we?
And the person's like, yeah, we're the best at making plans, and the mind's like, yeah, this is awesome. And then the person is like, but should we, should we execute it? And the mind's like, nah.
And that's where the benefit
Exactly.
things, what's in it for me, and that's the natural thing. And you need a chair?
Yeah, everything good.
Everything good.
Anyone?
That's a political answer, Tenzin. We don't want to hear that here. This is Buddhism. We
I
tell the
remember at
truth.
one point, Nikki, we were talking about analytical meditation.
This is a big point, by the way.
Well, we were talking about analytical meditation, and it was a long time ago. I don't remember when, and I was.
You're not
having-
that old to have a long time ago.
Well, and he
It's like
was.
something's burning.
Well, I think there was just something smoking in the oven, but it's not like burning.
Yeah,
I don't
it
think-
reacts to carbon.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
but he was. He started to introduce analytical meditation to me so that I could start to play with it. But now I find myself playing with everything in that way of just trying to think of concepts, whether it's, or maybe like the 4 measurables or something like that, and
Yeah.
thinking of equanimity, compassion, love, joy.
How they fit in.
Yeah, and then thinking like equanimity. With it, I get all these things. Without it, I don't get all these things.
Welcome to Harvard
I'll go with
Business
it.
School. It's Harvard Business School,
And
cost-benefit
And
analysis.
then, yeah, but it really feels like that in my mind all the time.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed
Trying
to do.
just weigh it this way,
Yes.
weigh it that way, turn it a little bit, weigh it that way now, go back this way. And then usually with things that are so pure, something like equanimity or compassion, you always end up going, wow, amazing.
So I have to say, like, for me, it is a little different. Like, if I was sitting and weighing, like, analytically the benefits of this and this, of course I'll think, yeah, this is a good plan. But just like the meme was the person and the plan, the fact that it's a good plan is not enough to motivate me. So for me, it's the physical, it's the somatic
You gotta find something that
experiences
motivates you then.
that I started doing these types of meditations, and I found that my body's more relaxed, that I'm able to deal with difficult situations
Well, that's the
in my
point,
life.
yeah.
And so the proof was in my actual like experience, and not like calculating the benefits, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
You got a small return on your investment.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
I'll
I need the
double
money,
that.
exactly.
You'll suddenly find out of in the blue, there's a looseness to yourself that you didn't have before when you start considering, because you're working the mind the right way, based on solid, reasons, etc. And the motivation is pure. You're not trying to build something that kills more people. So all of that is a big boost, a big help. We're almost out of time. Darren, do we have names? So we'll leave it at that, and we'll continue this discussion next Tuesday. If you're online, you can just chat in, I realize people can't get here all the time. Everybody's still young and still working.
Oh, yes, of course.
Very nice. Very. Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels and Perry Cohen. Oh, the art teacher. Yeah. He was 99 years old, something like that. And who else?
I had Liam, he's a musician. I can't remember
Who?
his last name. Liam, I can't remember his last name. Musician.
Liam, yeah, it's a musician. Darren will know. First name Liam, Liam. Yeah. Irish musician, probably.
Yeah, I can't remember his last name.
Well, next week we'll remember it. Anything else?
It's a guy.
But
Buddy.
His life was saved. He was in the pound, ready to be.
Really?
That's it? Okay. Sutra of the Recollection, Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus, the Buddha, Bhagavata, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans, is the Buddha Bhagavat. Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavad teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavad, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector, who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. And one final component of our presentation, a prayer for a swift return that is of our teacher Rato Chungla Rinpoche. This prayer is written by His Holiness. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop. Sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Gulazang Tubuang Dorje Chang. Please bear witness here today, our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guest in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body, serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you, till cyclic existence's end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Luzang Tenpei, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karma Yama, and Srimata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. So this concludes tonight's presentation. Our next Dharma class will be next Tuesday, right, Darren? And then the one after the next class after that will be the Wednesday. So until November 11th. At November 11th, we'll switch to Monday, Wednesday, as we did for many, many years. But to get people used to it, so November 11th will be our first Monday presentation. Until then, it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday. And Saturday, every other Saturday for White's House. So thank you very, very much for your patient listening. Big love to all of you.